I was with my old videographer today and I was explaining this story to him that I met this girl in Budapest earlier on in the year. And I met her 2 years ago in Tulum on Tinder. And we kept talking and we hit it off. We liked each other. And so I decided to come and see her here in Europe. This was in January this year. So things went well. We went on 5 different dates and I took her out and I took her to nice places. Obviously, I paid for it because I'm the man and I make enough money and she doesn't really earn that much even though she's got a job. So we did that. And then I invited her to come to Bucharest to see me. So she came to Bucharest for 5 days. She stayed at mine. Obviously, I took her to nice places again. Obviously, I paid for everything again. Now, the thing that really annoyed me is she didn't even offer. She literally didn't even offer once. Even to buy me a fucking cup of tea or a drink or a glass of wine. Never reached into her pocket. So it really goes to show, if you start from the offset with a woman and you're paying for shit all the time and you never really wait a second or two when the bill arrives or when you're at a bar or in a coffee shop or in a shop or just you're going for an ordinary coffee and it's a takeaway coffee. It costs fucking 10 euros, probably less than that if you're somewhere like Bucharest or Budapest. And this girl earned about 50,000 euros a year, right? She's not poor, right? Compared to people in Budapest, that's probably top 1% earners in the whole country. This girl, not once did she offer to pay for a coffee, for God's sake. Nothing. So maybe it was principle of hers that the man has to actually cover everything. Maybe that was her principle. Maybe that was her values. Maybe it was like, oh, I pay for 0 and he pays for everything because I'm hot enough. Yes, she was hot. Of course, I don't go out with ugly chicks. And I'm like, hold on a second. You've come to Romania. I've done all this shit for you. Fine. Then we organized a trip to London. So she was meant to come and see me in London. I was staying in my beautiful house in North London. I said, why don't you come and stay with me for 3-4 days? She was also coming on a work trip. I was like, hey, you can stay at mine. Perfect. Guess what? She books a flight at an airport which was 2 hours away from my house. She booked Gatwick Airport. And Gatwick Airport is the furthest airport away from central London. You've got all the other airports in London, Heathrow, London City, even Luton, right, is closer than Gatwick. So we talk about this and I tell her, babe, don't book Gatwick Airport. That's only good for public transportation, but it's not the best airport if you want to meet someone in central London. Guess what she books? Gatwick Airport. Speak to her the day after. I'm like, babe, the fuck did you book Gatwick Airport for? Oh, it was late and I saw the flight and I just made a snap decision. And I was like, great, a woman's emotions, they just take over. Zero logic came into her mind at that point, and she just decided to book a flight from Gatwick Airport, which is a 2-hour drive from my house and 2 hours back. So that's a 4-hour round trip. Now listen to this. Now I'm sorry I made the story long, but it was all building up to this moment. So, a week before she's meant to come, I send a message saying, listen, babe, Gatwick Airport is a little bit far away from my house. I'm going to drive to central London. You can take a train called the Gatwick Express from Gatwick Airport, which is just 30 minutes from Gatwick Airport to central London. I'll pick you up from there and I've got all these lovely plans to show you around. Guess what she said? Oh, in my country, the guest always gets collected from the airport no matter how far away it is. If you don't collect me from the airport, then I'm going to just stay in a hotel. Can you believe this, bitch? Can you believe this shit? This is almost knowing each other for 1.5 years, 2 years. Me paying for everything. Liking each other. I wasn't in love, but we definitely liked each other. She was into me, I was into her. Things were going well. We vibed. It made sense. I was like, oh, you know what? I could potentially settle down with this girl. And she said that. She wasn't even willing to take a 30-minute train when she hadn't ever even paid a penny. For about 2 years that I knew the bitch, she hadn't paid a penny towards anything that we've ever done with each other. It was me paying for everything. So I know it was a long story, but the moral of the story is be very careful with your money, brother. You've probably worked very hard for it. You've earned your money. And now you're going to take a girl out and you're going to pay for everything all the time. She has to meet you halfway at some point, right? Well, thank God for feminism, after all. Because feminism claims, if you try and buy a Swedish girl dinner 5 times in a row, apparently she'll refuse. And she'll be like, you can pay for the first time, but even on the first time, Scandinavian girls split the bill because feminism has hit them so hard, if you like, and they believe so much in equality that the woman even is expected to split the bill on the first date. Now, I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with that. I'm happy to pay on the first date, but I would like her to offer on the second date. So ultimately, off the back of this story, here's the moral of the story and here's the lesson. Be extremely careful with your money. Do not, even if you're rich and you've got money like myself, do not throw your money down the drain, taking her to amazing places and not expecting anything back in return from her. This girl didn't even cook for me. This girl didn't do shit. Nothing in return. I got zero value from her, and it was all value coming from me. Not only monetary value, emotional value, where she went through hard times with her work and I was always there for her to advise her on her career because I've got the experience with all these sorts of things. I've had like high-end jobs and I was like fired and got good jobs and then started a business, blah, blah, blah. I helped her out with a lot of these different instances and emotional pain. So again, not only did I pay for shit, I helped her emotionally. I was there for her the whole time. And I got nothing in return. I got zero value back from this girl. And so, do you know what I did? That moment that she said, well, I'm going to stay in a hotel if you don't pick me up from the airport. I said, cool. I'm not going to pick you up. And that was it. I messaged her 2 days later, explaining to her why I didn't pick her up. I said, darling, I've spent 2 years and I feel like I've offered so much of my heart and soul and my value to you. And I feel like it hasn't been reciprocated. And therefore, this isn't working for me. I wish you luck. Take care of yourself. I was very nice and I was very honest. And she responded back to me saying, hey, Ralph, it seems like we're not compatible. Of course we're not fucking compatible. You offer nothing. Of course we're not compatible. I offer everything. You offer nothing. I'm a man of value. You're a woman of what? Good looks? Well, you know what? That's transferable because there's a lot of women with good looks, but not that many men who've got their shit together in this life. So I walked away from that situation. And as I was explaining that story to my videographer, my old videographer today, it really bugged me. And I was just like, I want to tell my YouTube subs and people on YouTube, guys, be careful you don't get taken for an absolute ride and a fool, because you'll take her out on 5-10 different dates. You'll take her to all these different places. And she won't appreciate shit because women only care about how you make them feel, not about what you bought them. You might shower her with gifts and beautiful restaurants. Guess what? She don't give a shit. She doesn't give a shit. Find a girl that's humble, that's easygoing, that does little things, that doesn't necessarily require so much money. Find a girl who appreciates these things. And please, for the love of God, find a girl that offers value back to you in some way, shape or form. It cannot just be you doing everything for the woman and her doing nothing. Her just being a pretty face sitting next to you. That, my friends, is not enough for me. I need more than that.